Welcome back to the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg. So, Jay, you sent me a video, and I actually saw a video of this as well. There's actually been a few videos out there from Brian McIntyre, and he's been talking a little bit about Terence Crawford and his upcoming fight against Israil Madrimov on August 3rd. So, according to all Terence Crawford fans, it's going to be the biggest fight of the year. It's the best card in North American history, and so it's going to be interesting to see. Now, the thing that I find to be very interesting in what Bomac had to say, Jay, is that Israil Madrimov is incredibly skilled. He has a ton of amateur fights. He is determined. He's hungry. He can see it in his eyes. And he's mentioned this on multiple occasions that they got to be very careful with this individual. They don't want to look ahead to Canelo Alvarez. They were talking about Canelo a lot, but Bomac doesn't seem to want to be in that whole Canelo mix in terms of having conversations about Canelo Alvarez right now. He simply wants to talk about Israil Madrimov. And so it seems to me that Israil Madrimov may be a real threat in their mind, or it could just be that Bomac is trying to hype this individual. Now, many of us had not heard of Israil Madrimov prior to the announcement that he was going to fight Terence Crawford at 154 pounds for the WBA title. But I've gotten the opportunity since then, Jay, to go and do a little bit of research on Madrimov. I've looked at a ton of his fights. Madrimov is an interesting fighter, and Bomac compared him to like a mean machine. I call him a great value version of Triple G. They fight in a very similar style, but Madrimov actually uses very unique, I would call it angles when he's trying to close ground and attack his opponent. So that's very interesting to me. But I mean, Terence Crawford, number one pound for pound fighter in the sport, regardless of what people try to tell you, it is not Alexander Usyk. It is not Inoue. It is Terence Bud Crawford. I just think that he has the skill set to defeat him. Now, it's interesting also that Bomac said that Terence Crawford, that change to 154 pounds has been going very well. That Bud had been growing out of 147 pounds. So that's kind of indicative of what we heard in the past from Terence Crawford and the fact that we knew Terence Crawford was just using 147 pounds in order to try to leverage his way into more money versus Errol Spence. But that's a different topic. I ain't going to go there. I just want to throw that out there. But he has been transitioning very well into that weight class, Jay. And Bomac is saying that he's ready, that he's looking good, that he's looking better at 154 pounds, which I thought was interesting. He says he's going to be stronger, which makes sense to me, but he's going to be faster. He's going to be better. Well, why is he simply going to be better? Because he's at 154 pounds. Terence Crawford is 36 years old. Father Time is bound to start knocking on that door at some point. So So I expect Crawford to look good. I definitely expect him to look good, but I don't expect him to look any better than what he did against Errol Spence. And it's just so interesting to me, Jay, that they are talking about Madrimov in a way that they didn't even talk about Errol Spence. Like Madrimov, they're talking about how dangerous he is, so forth and so on, the technical skills, the amateur background, the pedigree. That's all fine and dandy. But with Errol, what he's essentially saying, or what he essentially said was, hey, this is going to be easy work. You know what I'm saying? He hasn't changed since the amateurs. We're going to go in there. We're going to take him apart. It's going to be easier than what people think. So maybe we should believe Bomac in this situation as well when he's saying Madrimov is a dangerous opponent. What's your thoughts on that, Jay?
I mean, how much can a guy change from the amateurs with only, 8 fights? 10 fights? I mean, he said Errol didn't change it. Errol had 20-something plus fights. But Madrimov is all this big monster and this killer. So they're trying to sell the fight, bro. In my opinion, that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
I don't, because I believe if anyone else was fighting Madrimov, Terence Crawford fans would be like, "Oh, he only has 10 fights. He only has 10 fights. Oh, he's picking on this guy that only has 10 fights." That would be the narrative. But since it's Bud, they try to spin another way. You can give Bud his props without lying about the whole deal with Madrimov. Bud is a phenomenal fighter. He's a pound for pound number one. No one's disputing that. For him fighting a guy has 10 fights for a belt, he's trying to get a belt. That's one thing. But don't try to make it seem like this guy is just a world beater, like he's the actual version of Triple G back in the day or some big monster or anything like that. He only has 11 fights. Sorry. One of them was a draw, a technical draw due to a cut for a guy that he already TKO'd the fight before. So it'll be interesting to see how things go. You can't overlook any fighter in the fight game because all it takes is one punch. They put you up out of there. so he can't overlook him. You know, he's moving to a new weight class. But when we saw those two face off, they're not different. They're not that much different in size. They are actually about the same height. We know Bud has the reach advantage. So I mean, we know Bud has experience. We know Bud has every advantage going into this fight. So they're doing what they're supposed to do. They're doing going out there saying that he's a beast. He's tough. He's tough as poop and all that crap there. But all the fans to go to hop on that it's just crazy to me that they're hopping on that saying, oh yeah, he's da 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 da. I'm like, stop it. I really see Bud moving. This is a good chance for Bud to get a belt and get paid at the same time, supposedly on this card on August 3rd. So I don't see the big hype in it at all. You know, it's just a stepping stone for Bud to try to get to what they say he's what he's trying to get in on being undisputed again. That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I mean that's of course that's absolutely what they're trying to do. It's hard for me to say, man. I think Madrimov does present an interesting test to some degree. Like I don't want to overstate it, because you got to be careful with stuff like that. I don't want to overstate what it is that he's going to bring to the table, but I do believe he brings something interesting. He's a bit strapping guy, right? He's strong. When I saw him in the ring, and you see him in the ring, he looks pretty big. Now standing next to Terence Crawford, he didn't look quite as big to me, but you know, I don't know. It's gonna all depend on what I see on the night of weigh-in, and then what he looks like on the night of the fight. You know, Crawford's gonna have that reach advantage. I'm curious to see what he looks like against a big, strong guy at 154 pounds that's at his natural weight class, and that the guy's gonna be willing, able to really put pressure on Bud. Crawford is so adept at picking you off when you're coming in. That's why I was mentioning Madrimov and his skill set in terms of his ability to close ground. He takes interesting angles as he's closing in. So it could present somewhat of a challenge, but Bud overall is the more skilled fighter, and I just see him coming out victorious. Israil Madrimov is 29 years old though, so he's young, he's strapping, he's ready to go. Bud is 36, could father time at some point, knock on that door. I think it's possible. We'll see. I'm gonna say, Jay, I'm gonna disagree and say that I don't think it's just hype. I think they are, of course, hyping him up to some degree, but I do believe that there is some level of genuine concern in regards to Israil Madrimov, because they know what they had in Mean Machine. Mean Machine actually dropped Bud, gave him some problems initially, but I think Madrimov is going to be different because I just think he's a bigger guy, man. I think he's a lot bigger than Mean Machine.
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to take it seriously. Move up to a new weight class. Like I said, all it takes is one punch. You have to take it seriously. But hyping him up over and over again, saying he's da 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 da, it's just selling the fight, in my opinion.
So yeah, that's all I'm saying. I think you believe that it's more selling than it actually is threat. I think it's a little bit more threat than it is selling, but we'll see. You guys tell us what you think in the comment section in regards to this particular fight. Is there a situation here currently going on with Team Crawford that they are concerned about Israil Madrimov? No. Jason say it's all hype. I think there's some fact to it, but we'll see. Let us know what you think. Don't forget to hate, like, comment, and subscribe. This is the Angry Man Podcast, AL Sports Media, and we are